You may not realize it yet, but right now, in the quiet moments of your soul, something is stirring. You feel the pressure building around you, almost as if the life you once knew is being pulled apart. Do not fear this disruption, for it is a signal that God is preparing you for a blessing beyond anything you could have imagined. The first sign is disruption. When God is preparing you for a blessing, the first and often most unsettling sign is the disruption of your familiar life patterns. It is as if the foundation upon which you built your world begins to shake, and everything that once felt secure and predictable is suddenly thrown into chaos. This disruption is not random, it is intentional. It is the divine hand at work, preparing the way for something greater than what you had known. Yet, in the midst of it, it can be difficult to see beyond the confusion, and the natural response is often fear, resistance, or doubt. But this is the very moment when the soul is being primed for transformation. Life disruptions can take many forms. It may come as a sudden loss of job, a relationship, or an opportunity you were counting on. It may feel as if doors are closing everywhere, and no matter what you do, the path you've been walking seems to vanish before your eyes. This sense of disorientation is not easy to bear, but it is crucial to understand that this is not the end. It is the beginning of something far more significant than you could have imagined. When familiar patterns break, it is because those patterns no longer serve the new life that is trying to emerge within you. The routines, the habits, and even the people that were once integral to your life may no longer align with the direction in which God is leading you. It's almost as if your old life has become too small for the blessing that is on the horizon. Just like a seed that breaks open beneath the soil, the disruption is necessary for growth. The seed does not stay buried forever, it bursts open, making room for new life to rise to the surface. During these times, it is easy to cling to what is familiar, because it provides a sense of security. However, the divine purpose behind disruption is not to punish or harm, but to prepare. The security you once found in the familiar is no longer sufficient for the magnitude of the blessing that is coming. There is a pruning process at work, a shedding of what is old and worn out, so that you are ready to receive what is new and full of life. Without this breaking apart of the old, there is no room for the new to enter. Sometimes these disruptions can feel like they are stripping you of everything you know, but in reality they are creating space for the extraordinary. Imagine a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. At first it seems destructive, as large chunks of stone fall away. But each strike of the hammer brings the sculpture closer to its true form. So too in life, the disruptions you face are the hammer strikes of the divine, chipping away at what is no longer needed, revealing the masterpiece that is already within you. In these moments, trust is essential. When you find yourself in the middle of a disruption, it's easy to focus on the loss or the discomfort. But you must remember that this is a process of creation, not destruction. The breaking of old patterns is a necessary step in making way for something far greater. The discomfort you feel is the birth pangs of a new season, a new blessing that is being prepared for you. Many times we resist these disruptions because we don't fully understand their purpose. We try to hold on to what is familiar, believing that if we can just maintain control, everything will stay the same. But that's not the point. The familiar is not where growth happens. Growth happens in the unknown, in the spaces where we are forced to rely on faith rather than certainty. It is in these moments of disruption that God is asking you to let go of what you think you need and trust that He knows better. Often, the greatest blessings in life come after a season of disruption. This is because disruption forces us to confront the areas in our lives where we have become stagnant or complacent. It pushes us out of our comfort zones and into a place where we are open to new possibilities. If life never changed, if everything always stayed the same, we would never grow. we would never become more than what we are today. Disruptions are also an opportunity for refinement. Just as gold is refined in the fire, so too are you refined in the midst of life's disruptions. The trials, the hardships, and the unexpected turns are not meant to break you but to shape you. They strip away the unnecessary, the distractions, and the limitations that have kept you from stepping into your full potential. In this way, disruption is a blessing in disguise, though it may not feel like it in the moment. As the familiar patterns of your life begin to break, you may find yourself questioning why things are happening the way they are. You may wonder why certain people or opportunities have been removed from your life. But know this: when God is preparing you for a blessing, He is also protecting you from anything that could interfere with that blessing. What feels like a loss is often a divine redirection. The doors that close are not closed to punish you, but to guide you toward the doors that are meant to open. It is important to remain open and receptive during times of disruption. Resist the urge to cling to the old or to force things to stay the same. Trust that there is a divine order at work, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. In fact, it is precisely in those moments when it seems like everything is collapsing that the greatest breakthroughs are often just around the corner. The more you release your attachment to the familiar, the more room you create for God to move in your life. Disruption is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of a new chapter. The shaking of your foundations is not a sign of defeat, but a sign of preparation. There is something greater waiting for you on the other side of the destruction, something that will exceed your highest expectations. If you can embrace the breaking of old patterns and trust the process, you will find that the disruption was the very thing that made way for the blessing you have been waiting for. The next sign that God is preparing you for a blessing is the intense desire for change. This desire is not a mere wish or fleeting thought, it is an all-consuming force that seems to take root deep within you. It can start as a gentle nudge or a persistent thought that something in your life is meant to shift, but soon it becomes a powerful pull that you can no longer ignore. This desire for change is often accompanied by a growing dissatisfaction with the way things are. It's as if the life you've been living no longer fits, and you begin to feel out of alignment with your current reality. This inner stirring is not random, it is a signal that something is shifting in the spiritual realm. The desire for change comes when the soul is ready to move into a new season, a higher level of being. It's the whisper of the divine within you, calling you forward, urging you to step out of the old and into the new. But this desire is not always easy to navigate, for it often brings with it a sense of unease or restlessness. You may find yourself questioning everything: your job, your relationships, your choices, wondering if you are on the right path. What you must understand is that this intense desire for change is not something to be feared or suppressed. It is a sign that God is preparing your heart and mind to receive something greater. The very fact that you feel this longing for something more is evidence that there is more meant for you. It is a divine invitation to step into a new reality, to expand beyond the limitations you've placed on yourself, and to embrace the fullness of what is possible. This desire is often accompanied by a vision or dream of what your life could be. You begin to imagine a different future, one that is filled with purpose, joy, and abundance. These visions are not mere fantasies, they are glimpses of the blessings that are already on their way to you. The divine is showing you what is possible, so that you can begin to align your thoughts, actions, and energy with this new reality. It's as if the universe is giving you a sneak peek of what's to come, urging you to prepare yourself for its arrival. But with this desire for change also comes a choice. You can either continue to live in the comfort of what you know, or you can step into the unknown and pursue the life that is calling you. The path of least resistance may seem tempting, but it will only lead to more dissatisfaction and frustration. The divine does not plant these desires in your heart for them to go unfulfilled. They are there to guide you, to push you out of your comfort zone, and to lead you toward the blessing that is waiting for you. It's important to recognize that this desire for change may require you to let go of things that no longer serve you. Old habits, limiting beliefs, or even certain relationships may need to be released in order to make room for the new. This process of letting go can be painful, but it is necessary. You cannot step into a new reality while holding on to the old. The desire for change is not just about wanting something different, it is about becoming someone different. It is about transforming into the person who is capable of receiving and sustaining the blessing that is coming your way. This inner transformation often requires a shift in mindset. You may need to let go of doubt, fear, and scarcity thinking, and instead embrace faith, trust, and abundance. The desire for change is a call to elevate your thoughts and align them with the truth of who you are, a powerful, divine being who is worthy of all the good that life has to offer. As you shift your mindset, you will find that the desire for change becomes less of a burden and more of an exciting journey. You will begin to see the signs of your blessing all around you, and the path forward will become clearer. This desire for change is also a sign that your soul is expanding. You are being stretched beyond your current limitations so that you can grow into the person you were always meant to be. Growth is never easy, but it is always worth it. The discomfort you feel is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is being birthed within you. Just like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon, the process of transformation can be challenging, but the result is a life of freedom, beauty, and abundance. As this desire for change intensifies, you may also notice that the things that once brought you comfort or satisfaction no longer do. What once felt like enough now feels empty or unfulfilling. This is a natural part of the process. The divine is creating a space within you for something greater, and in order for that space to be filled, the old must be released. This can feel disorienting at first, but trust that it is all part of the preparation. The emptiness you feel is not a void, it is a sacred space being prepared for your blessing. It's also important to understand that the desire for change does not mean that you are lacking in any way. In fact, the very opposite is true. The desire for change comes when you are ready to expand into the full you are. It is a recognition that you are capable of more, that you are deserving of more, and that you are ready to receive more. This desire is a reflection of the abundance that is already within you, waiting to be expressed and manifested in your life. As you embrace this desire for change, you will find that doors begin to open, opportunities begin to present themselves, and the path forward becomes illuminated. The divine will guide you every step of the way, providing you with the resources, people, and circumstances you need to bring your vision to life. All you have to do is stay open, stay receptive, and take inspired action when the time is right. This intense desire for change is not just a feeling, it is a divine calling. It is the universe's way of preparing you for the blessing that is already on its way to you. The more you align yourself with this desire, the more you will find that the very things you've been longing for are drawn to you with ease. Trust the process, trust the desire, and know that every step you take is leading you closer to the blessing that is being prepared for you. Another profound sign that God is preparing you for a blessing is isolation or separation from the old. When you are on the verge of receiving something truly transformative, it often feels like you are being removed from everything and everyone that once formed the familiar structure of your life. This separation can manifest in various ways. Perhaps certain relationships start to feel distant, or you notice a shift in your social circle. Maybe opportunities you once relied on start to fade, or activities that used to bring you joy no longer hold the same appeal. In these moments, it can feel like you are being set apart, like you are being pulled away from the very things that once defined you.
But this isolation is not a punishment, nor is it an indication that something has gone wrong. Rather, it is a divine preparation, a process through which God is creating space within you for the blessing that is coming. It is as if the universe is clearing out the clutter in your life to make room for the new. The old cannot coexist with the new, and so this separation is necessary for your spiritual growth and the unfolding of your destiny. Isolation often feels lonely because it challenges our innate human desire for connection and belonging. We are social beings by nature, and when the familiar bonds begin to loosen, it's natural to feel as though we are losing something valuable. But what is actually happening is a realignment. You are being separated from that which no longer serves you, from relationships, habits, or environments that have fulfilled their purpose in your life. This separation may feel abrupt or uncomfortable, but it is a sign that God is aligning you with people, places, and opportunities that are more attuned to the blessing you are about to receive. In this space of isolation, it may feel like your support system is diminishing. Friends who were once close might seem distant, or you may feel a disconnection from the community or activities that once energized you. This can be unsettling, but understand that this is part of the divine pruning process. God is not just separating you from the old for the sake of it. He is preparing you to be surrounded by new connections that will nurture the next phase of your journey. You are being set apart so that you can receive with clarity, free from the distractions and influences of the past. In these moments, you may also notice a growing distance between you and your previous self, the old version of who you used to be. Your interests may shift, your priorities may change, and you may feel like a stranger in your own life. This is a critical stage of transformation because it marks the shedding of an identity that is no longer in alignment with your higher purpose. The isolation allows you to confront this old self and release it, making way for the person you are becoming. As uncomfortable as it may be, this period isolation is one of the most sacred times of preparation. It is here, in the quiet, that you can hear the voice of God more clearly. The distractions that once clouded your vision are no longer there, and in the stillness, you can sense the divine guidance that is leading you toward your blessing. This is a time of deep reflection, a time to reconnect with your inner self and your divine purpose. The isolation allows you to recalibrate, to share what is no longer needed, and to realign with the path that God has set before you. During this time, you may find yourself longing for companionship or for the comfort of the familiar, but resist the temptation to return to old patterns or relationships out of fear of being alone. The very act of separation is preparing you for something greater, something more aligned with your spiritual growth. Going back to what is familiar may feel safe, but it will only delay the blessing that is waiting for you. Trust that the isolation is not a permanent state, but a temporary phase of preparation. God is not leaving you in this space of separation without purpose. He is using it to mold you, to strengthen you, and to elevate you to a new level of consciousness. This process of isolation often involves a stripping away of attachment, both external and internal. You may find that the things you once found comfort in no longer provide the same sense of fulfillment. This is because you are being called to detach from the external world and turn inward. The isolation is not just physical, it is also spiritual and emotional. You are being called to release your attachment to outcomes, to surrender control, and to trust in the divine timing of your life. At times, this separation can feel like a wilderness experience, like you are wandering in a barren place, unsure of where you are headed or how long the journey will take. but it is in the wilderness that God often does His greatest work. Just as Moses was led into the wilderness before receiving his divine mission, and just as Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness before beginning His ministry, so too are you being led into a place of solitude for a reason. The wilderness is not a place of abandonment. It is a place of preparation. It is where you are stripped of everything that is unnecessary, so that you can emerge stronger, wiser, and ready to receive the fullness of your blessing. The key to navigating this period of isolation is faith. Faith that the separation is not in vain, faith that the loneliness is temporary, and faith that what is being prepared for you is far greater than anything you could have imagined. In this space of isolation, you are being prepared to carry the weight of your blessing. The relationships, habits, and situations that no longer serve you are being removed, so that when the blessing comes, you will be able to receive it fully, without the burden of the old holding you back. It's also important to recognize that isolation is not about rejecting others or being rejected. It's about being repositioned. God is repositioning you for a new season, and in order to step into that season, you must first go through a period of separation. This separation is not about loss, but about gain. About gaining clarity, gaining strength, and gaining a deeper connection with the divine. You are being set apart so that you can rise above the noise of the world and hear the whispers of your soul. As you move through this time of isolation, remember that you are not truly alone. God is with you in every step, guiding you, protecting you, and preparing you for the blessing that is on its way. This period of separation is temporary, but the blessing that follows will be lasting. Trust the process, embrace the solitude, and know that you are being prepared for something far greater than you can yet see. The final sign that God is preparing you for blessing is the experience of testing and trials. When you are on the verge of a breakthrough, life often seems to intensify and challenges appear from every direction. These trials may seem overwhelming at times, but they are not there to break you. They are there to refine you, to shape you, and to prepare you for the blessing that is coming. In moments of testing, it is easy to feel as though you are being pushed beyond your limits. But it is precisely in these moments that God is strengthening you for what is to come. Testing is a part of the divine process because blessings are not just gifts. They are also responsibilities. Every blessing carries a weight, and you must be ready to carry it. God does not give you more than you can handle, but He often tests you to ensure that you are capable of sustaining what He is about to pour into your life. These tests can come in many forms. Perhaps it's a financial strain, a relationship challenge, or a period of uncertainty in your career. Whatever the form, the purpose is the same: to build your character, deepen your faith, and strengthen your resolve. Think of testing as spiritual conditioning. Just as an athlete must train rigorously before a competition, you too must be spiritually and mentally prepared for the next level of your life. The trials you face are not signs of God's favor. They are evidence that He's prepared you for something greater. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to prove to yourself that you are ready for the blessing that is on its way. It is in the fire of trials that your faith is refined and your spirit is fortified. During times of testing, it's important to maintain perspective. It's easy to get caught up in the difficulty of the moment and to question why things are happening the way they are. But if you can shift your focus from the trial itself to the lesson within the trial, you will begin to see that each challenge is actually a stepping stone toward your blessing. The very things that seem to be standing in your way are the things that are preparing you to step into your next season. God uses trials not to punish, but to promote. It's a divine paradox that often the greater the trial, the greater the blessing that follows. This is because trials have a way of stripping away the unnecessary and focusing your attention on what truly matters. They reveal your strengths and expose your weaknesses, giving you the opportunity to fortify your spirit and align yourself with God's purpose for your life. When you face a trial, it is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign that you are being positioned for a breakthrough. These tests are also an opportunity for you to exercise faith. It's easy to trust in God when everything is going smoothly, but real faith is tested in the fire of adversity. When the path forward is unclear, when the resources seem scarce, when everything in your external world appears to be working against you, that is when your faith is truly put to the test. Will you trust that God is working behind the scenes, even when you cannot see the full picture? Will you believe that the challenges you face are preparing you for something greater, even when the blessing has not yet appeared? One of the most important aspects of these trials is that they teach you patience and perseverance. Often we want the blessing to come immediately without delay, but God's time is perfect. He knows when you are ready, and the trials you face are part of that preparation. Each test is designed to stretch you, to build endurance, and to increase your capacity to handle what is coming. Patience is not just about waiting. It's about waiting with faith, trusting that the delay is purposeful and that the blessing will come in the fullness of time. In the midst of testing, it's also important to stay connected to your vision. Trials can cloud your perspective, making it difficult to see beyond the immediate challenges. But if you can keep your eyes fixed on the blessing that is being prepared for you, you will find the strength to persevere. Remember that every test is temporary, but the blessing that follows will be lasting. The pain, the frustration, the uncertainty, they are all part of the process of becoming who you need to be in order to receive and sustain your blessing. It's during these times of testing that you may also experience moments of doubt or fear. You may wonder if you are capable of handling what is ahead, or if the blessing you are waiting for will ever come. But it is precisely in these moments of vulnerability that God's strength is made perfect in you. The trials are not meant to expose your limitations. They are meant to show you the limitless power of God working through you. When you feel weak, it is an invitation to lean into divine strength, to trust that you are being carried through the storm. One of the greatest lessons that trials teach is resilience. The ability to rise after falling, to continue pressing forward even when the path is difficult, is a key element in receiving and sustaining a blessing. Resilience is not about never failing. It's about bouncing back when you do. It's about maintaining hope and faith, even in the darkest moments, because you trust that God is working all things together for your good. Each test is an opportunity to build that resilience, to strengthen your spiritual muscles, so that when the blessing arrives, you are fully prepared to carry it. At the end of every trial, there is a reward. The blessing that follows is not just the fulfillment of a desire. It is the fruit of the endurance, faith, and trust you have cultivated along the way. The trials you face are the proving ground for your blessing. They are the final stages of preparation, ensuring that when the blessing comes, you are ready to receive it with an open heart and a strong spirit. So, when you find yourself in the midst of testing and trials, Remember that this is a sign that God is preparing you for something greater. The challenges you face are not obstacles but opportunities for growth. Each trial is a divine refinement, a sacred process through which you're being shaped and molded for the blessing that is already on its way to you. Stay faithful, stay patient, and trust that the blessing is closer than you think. Thank you.